Hello and welcome to Crafting with Jane. My name is Jane Allmark and we're continuing on our week of using acetate. I want to show you how I finished off. This is what we're doing today, but I wanted to show you how I'm finishing off, or how I finished off. If you remember the card that I did last time, and it was a disaster. So it started off as strips on acetate and it didn't really work. I then put it on a circle and then turned it, and again it wasn't quite right. What I ended up doing was punching out a whole pile of little stars out of some silver card and just put them on each one of them, and then the spaces in between I took a Posca pen. Now, Posca pens are absolutely brilliant. You can get them in all sorts of different colours. So this one is black, white, silver and gold, because I love using silver and gold. And then I've got a multi-pack of various different colours. And they will work on wood, textile, cardboard, metal and ceramics. Finish covering opaque and matte. Now that's the important thing, opaque and matte, meaning you can't see through it, meaning that it gives a very different look. So that's what I've used for this. Now we're going on to the next one, which is, this is a floral die, which I've had for a long time. Any sort of die would work as long as it's fairly sort of intricate. And all I've done this beforehand, is I put the acetate onto it, and then all I've done is fussy cut it round. Not overly carefully, but it's not going to show because it's acetate, but enough so that it holds it on, and then I've glued it. Now, I'm going to try a bit of an experiment. So I have got some alcohol markers, which I know aren't the easiest to go on to something like this because they tend to smear a bit and take a long time to dry. So I'm going to use some alcohol markers, but I'm also going to have a go at using the Posca pens. The fact that they're opaque, they might not work very well, but I thought we'd see. So I've got a really bright pink one here, which I think might actually look quite good. But I'm going to just do a little bit just in on the center here, because what I don't want is, I'm doing it on the other side. And I'm hoping, so I'm going to turn it over to the other side. I say I haven't tried this, but I thought, yes, you see, I think a combination of those might work quite well. So I've got some, let me get some alcohol markers in. I'm going to use some reds. We want green for the leaves. So let's get some different greens. And maybe a little bit of yellow in there. Maybe a bit of purple. I'm just going to pull out a whole pile of different ones because we want it to be different coloured. Now these ones again I've had for a long time, but I'm making use of everything I've got, and these are quite good because they're tri. So I'm going to try and see, try. So I'm going to just colour over the back of this. And then we'll turn it over and have a look and see how that looks. So yes, you can, what I need to do is to have a white card to hold it over. It does work okay, but it's not that bright. And I think I'm going to try using these pens in different colours. So I have got pink, red, bit of purple, maybe a bit of yellow. We'll have green for the grass. I don't think some of these I've even used. have a look and see if I've used this green one or not. No, I haven't, see? So when they're new, what you have to do is, I've got this bit of cardboard that I've got left over so I can use that. You literally just prime them. So you go up and down, shake it, and you'll find that the green will start to come down. You can see it coming down a little bit. There we are. And now we've got it down. So that's that one. So I can do these leaves on here. So let's have a look and see what they're like. And as I say, I don't think it's going to be so much of a stained glass look, because these are beautiful, because they come through in, they dry perfectly on acetate and just give a really rather lovely look coming through from underneath. And you can build them up a bit as well, so it's a great way of colouring. You can see how they literally just colour beautifully onto here, and I don't think they're going to take a huge amount of time to dry, to be quite honest. As I say, I bought them for colouring rocks, you know, pebble art. So you get a pebble out of the garden, or buy smooth pebbles or pebble from the beach, and then you can draw different art and things on them. And as I say, I bought them for doing that, and I've used them a little bit but not a lot, but I thought that this would actually work quite well. In fact, I think that this is going to look lovely. Oh yes, because it gives that it's not so much a stained glass look, because obviously it's stained glass you can see through, whereas this you can't see through, but for colouring on acetate it does work beautifully. So I'm just going to go along all of these leaves in the green. I don't think you can blend them though, so I think they just have to stand out as one colour. But as I say, for going on to acetate, and you don't have to worry if you're doing the back, you don't have to worry too much. And it's the sort of thing that you can then build up your layers afterwards. So you can just have it one layer of white like this, or you can build it up with other layers. So I'm not spending too much time on this. I'm just going through on here. There might be a few little gaps in here. Right, that's that leaf on that side. Let's do the leaf on this side. And I believe you can probably get Posca pens wherever. I got mine from my local DIY store, actually. There's a DIY store called Robert Dyer's in the UK, and they've just bought out Ryman's, which is the like printing supplies, and you get your cartridges and things for your printer and stuff like that from them. And they bought them out, and they had Posca pens. And as I say, I go to a weekly craft cafe where we do all sorts of different crafts, and there was a lady who brought these pebbles in and was using these pens, and I thought, oh, aren't they good? So so I thought, right, I'm going to have a go at using these. So I'm going to do some of these in pink. I'm going to go over this one actually, because it's not very good in the alcohol ones. These are water-based as well, I believe. So I'm going to do a pink in the middle. Shall I do that one pink as well? Yes, pink to there. And then I'm going to do some red, I think. So, and I bet this is a new one as well. Yes, I haven't used this one. So give it a good shake. And then again, just prime it. So up and down, shake, and down, and it'll start coming down. You can see how it comes down the nib, and then it's primed and ready to go. There we go. And so I'm now going to do some in red, I think, so we can have a combination of pink and red for the petals. Just going to say flowers, and I'm thinking, well, it is a flower, so I couldn't really say flowers, but I think that there's probably lots of other possibilities with Posca pens. As I say, I haven't, apart from colouring rocks, I haven't really used them for anything else, but they do seem to dry fairly quickly as well, which is, I think, is quite important. You don't want something that's going to take forever to dry. So I'm just taking this out to here. So we're going to have another piece, but they do colour beautifully over acetate. You can see there's hardly any marks at all coming through. And if I was to spend, I'm doing this quite quickly, if I was to spend a little bit more time, it would probably be even better. But certainly not. It's coming in quite nicely, I think. Right, so are we going to do some more? Do that one in red. Oh, I got the yellow out, didn't I? I'm going to do some yellow. So I've got pink. Shall I do some yellow? Let me have a look and see what the other side looks like. Oh yes, that's looking lovely actually. I really like that. I think I might do some yellow. Let's see if the yellow one has been used. Oh yes, that one has, so that's okay. So I'm just going to use some yellow on here. So it does give maybe not quite stained glass look, but it is quite nice. And as I say, if you're you want it completely solid, then you need to just spend a little bit of time making sure that you haven't got any sort of bubbles coming through, or not bubbles, but you know, when you're if you do this with the alcohol markers, you have to do it several times to build up the colour, whereas with these you don't. You can just do you know, just one. You don't need to do several layers, whereas with the alcohol markers you do need to do quite a few. So this is just giving a bit of fun actually. I am actually enjoying this. I think it's quite nice. So yellow, I do need another yellow. Let's do another yellow round here, because then I want to do some more reds. So I think this is going to be the last one on here, or I could actually just do pink on the outside, couldn't I? I want it to look quite vibrant. I don't want it to look as if it's a coloured rose, as it were, because it's got to have that slightly stained glass look. Now you can see on here that it's got some little tiny sort of bubbles through, but you can smooth them out fairly easily. So that's that on there. Then I think I'm going to do some more of this pink, because do I want the pink or do I want the red? Let me have a look. I'm going to do the pink. I really like this pink. I think it's lovely. It's very, very bright, almost like a, a fluorescent-y type pink. But as I say, they're great fun for doing pebbles. I don't know whether any of you've done rock art, but it was all the rage a few years ago. And as I say, that's when I got these. So I'm very much, when I turn around and say I'm using up what I have, or getting out what I have again, it's the same as everybody. We buy so much and we just keep it, and it goes in the cupboard, goes in the drawer, and we go like, oh, I'll bring that out again, and then you go like, don't really want to do that anymore. I used to do the pebble art a bit with my grandchildren when they were a little bit younger, but they're getting a bit old for that sort of stuff now. And at one time you used to colour in the pebbles and then leave them for other people to find them, and then they would do some for you to find, and that was all quite good. Now I think I might do the red down on here on this one. So I've got some pink up there. I need to do one more green, so I'm just colouring it in. But yes, this is something I haven't done before, so this is a bit of an experiment. And as I say, it's not going to give you the stained glass because this is opaque, which means that you can't see through it, but it's a great way of just doing one layer. And in reality I could have done so you can get gold. As I say, I've got gold and silver in one, black, white, gold and silver. Now that would work quite nicely on when we start getting towards Christmas time for Christmas cards. It might work quite well on there because you can then put that in underneath, which, as I say, I think will be lovely. But they're really quite fun to use. So let's turn it round, and I'm not sure how long they will take to dry. We'll have a little look on the green when we finish this last one here and see, because that's what I started. So with a bit of luck it should be fine. But yes, if you go backwards and forwards over it, then you'll find that you don't get the bubbles coming through. There we go. Let's take those in where I've got a few little bubbles coming up through on here. Right, so that's that all coloured. I've got one, there was one missing, wasn't there? This little green one here. So we'll just do this one on here. There we go. And I think you probably have to leave it to, let me just try on this little edge here and see if it's, oh, it's drying fairly quickly, look. In fact, that's fine. So you need to leave it for a few minutes or so. I don't suppose you'd be able to, because it's acetate, I wouldn't suggest using an alcohol marker. But if I go through on this way, you can see how you've got this lovely, lovely look on here. So I'm going to let this dry completely, and then I'm just going to put it on to a card like that. Now what I had thought of doing was I've cut another one out because I didn't know which side I was going to colour it on. You could colour it on the other side, so I could do it with the black over the top and have it down like that. I haven't decided whether I want it with black or whether I want it with the white. Not sure. You will see it on the front cover because, as I say, I'm going to allow this to completely dry. You can see here it's completely dried on there. In fact, if I hold it up, you might be able to see. No, you can't see on there, but it does dry relatively quickly. I can see where it's dried all along here, and it's just taking a little while. So it's quite a quick thing to do. This is a big image. Experiment the first time. But I think that I will probably use these more because they certainly work very well on acetate, but also I think I can use them on other things as well. So I'm going to have a little look up and see what other things I can use. I mean, on here, there's where people do it on pebbles. You can do it on shoes. All sorts of things. So they are water-based, permanent. So now it's got asterisk on permanent. What does it say? fixing instructions for non-porous surfaces can be found on the website. Oh, okay. So I should probably have a little look to see and play a bit more with these, because as I say, I've only done them with pebbles, and then I used yacht varnish to put them outside, because being water-based, if you get too much water on them, they won't last very well. So maybe it won't make any difference on this, because we are putting it on the reverse side. So as I say, it's going to be on the reverse side, so you can't see it. So you have the lovely shiny bit on there. But I think that that will work really nicely. So that's another idea, using acetate, and this time, rather than alcohol markers, we've used Posca pens. So hope you enjoyed that. As always, please stay safe and well. Please be kind, and look forward to seeing you again soon. Bye-bye.